Why is it so important for you to have a follow-up method with your Etsy store? And why could you be potentially missing out on many sales if you don't do this properly? Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves and you don't even know what an Etsy follow-up process is. That is what we're gonna basically be covering in this video and exactly what I do post-purchase after I get an Etsy sale. Welcome back, guys. So following up with your Etsy customers can manifest into a couple of different things. It's important that you have some type of follow-up method. Something is better than nothing. A customer follow-up is any interaction post-sale. So this is really important for building brand loyalty and just also cultivating that customer relationship and keeping that conversation going as long as possible. So it's not like you want to ship your item to your customer and then it's like, bye customer, like never talk to you ever again, right? We don't want that. We want to cultivate that relationship and nourish that relationship so that when it comes time to buy again for holidays or birthdays or whatever the case may be, your store is the one that they think of when it comes to buying time and time again, right? And it's really important to nourish that relationship so that is the case for your Etsy store. Not only is that going to help increase your return customer rate, but with that increase in the return customers or even more brand exposure through word of mouth from your current clients and customers, that's going to increase your Etsy store SEO as a whole because Etsy is going to reward you by seeing that you're getting more traffic coming from your already existing customers or just more traffic in general. So what exactly does this look like for you? I'm going to give you a list of each line item that I personally do in my store briefly right now, and then we're gonna dive in deeper and talk about my personal use case and how I actually go about taking action steps to do these follow-up methods with my own brands. Like I mentioned before, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, so that doesn't mean that this is the absolute only way, best way to do it. This is just what I personally do, and I always preach this. It's really beneficial for you to learn from other Etsy sellers, especially if you're new and just starting out or just seeing what other people are doing and could inspire or even help your brand directly with some of your own processes. By the way, guys, my name is Hannah Gardner. If you're new to the channel, I teach people how to build brands mainly on Etsy and Shopify, but a lot of other entrepreneurial stuff as well. So if that is what you're into, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're watching this video and you also have value to give because you have a different strategy or something that you personally do, make sure you comment those down below because that just helps this Etsy community. So the 4 things that I do post-purchase are 1, an immediate post-purchase thank you direct message, followed by 2, a social media follow-up, 3, a thank you card / product insert that they get inside their package, and finally 4, the Etsy automations. So like I mentioned before, we're gonna go through each one of these right now and go deeper into best practices, the do's and don'ts of how to do this correctly. Like we mentioned, number 1 on that list was that immediate post-purchase thank you message. So after every single purchase, we're going in there and sending them a direct thank you message. And this is doing a couple of different things, right? So just like when you purchase from a store and you get a shipping confirmation or an order confirmation, it's even more assurance when you're getting a message from the owner themselves. Not only is it going to build that assurance, but then it's also going to build that relationship. And it's just an extra added touch to the customer experience as a whole, but it kills a lot of birds with one stone. So let's just dive into what this message should look like. After every order, we're sending this direct message to our customers. And it reads like, thank you so much for your purchase and supporting small business. You can expect your item to ship in XYZ amount of days. We would love to continue sharing our small business journey with you on our Instagram. I put Instagram there, but really whatever social media that you really use the most. So if it's TikTok, direct them to TikTok. Please follow us now and message us the secret code, XYZ code, so whatever code you want them to message you. And we will send you back an exclusive XYZ discount. At the end of this, you would obviously link them to that social media account. The key element in this message is the call to action, which is getting them to follow you on Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media platform is your strongest platform, right? So why is this so important and how are we killing multiple birds with one stone? You're technically getting that social proof, increasing your follower count, making sure you're at the front lines, that they remember who you are when it comes time to purchase again. But also, because you're giving them a discount code, there's a chance that you might upsell them to purchase for a second time. So by default, what does that do? That shows Etsy that you're getting a high customer return rate, especially really early on if you're a new seller. And that's gonna help boost the SEO of your Etsy store as a whole, because Etsy is gonna reward you for that increase in traffic. So as you see, with one small message, you're really doing a lot of things that benefit your store. So now let's move into number 2, which is social media follow-up message. And essentially what you're doing here is you're responding to those secret code messages that we saw before. Because remember, the call to action was to send us the secret code XYZ and we'll send you back the discount. Now, the reason why I have it set up this way instead of just giving everybody a discount who follows you is because this is if you want to differentiate where your followers are coming from. So I'm asking them to send me a secret code, which could be anything, could be Etsy. And basically once you get that, you know that they were an Etsy purchase, and then you can send them back that exclusive one-time discount code, which could just be a discount code. You could make it a one-time discount code, or you could just use generic discount code that you then send back to them inside your Instagram DMs. Now, like I said, the reason that I have it set up this way is so you can differentiate where your followers are coming from. But if you know that you're a new Instagram account, or maybe you don't even care because you're down to send that message to anybody that follows you, whether it's organic or from Etsy, then you can take out that step, which will help because there will be a lower barrier of entry because they don't have to do something else. They're just following you, and then it's just your job to check how many new followers you have for that day and then send them that message. Either way, it just depends up to you if you want to be able to track who's coming from Etsy and who's not. If the goal is to get more Etsy sales, then maybe I would suggest sending that discount code to all of your new followers. Whenever you decide whether you're going to wait for them to follow you and then send you the code, or if you're just going to get a follow and you're going to send that offer to all your new followers, the message should look something like this. Thank you so much for the follow. Your exclusive discount code for XYZ offer is code blank. And then you're gonna wanna go ahead and insert the link directly back to your Etsy store so then they can go ahead and buy. Now, a couple of suggestions here. If you're somebody that runs a sale on your Etsy store all the time for like 10% off, right? That offer, XYZ offer, should be a sexier offer than what you already have on your Etsy store. If you run a 10% off sale every day, then that offer should be, say, 15% off, right? There's gotta be an incentive for them to go ahead and follow you on Instagram and then again, purchase again from your Etsy account. Now, another suggestion here, inside the message, we're gonna insert the link back to their Etsy store. You don't wanna skip that part of not sending the link inside the Instagram DM because you don't wanna have to make them go manually find your store again, right? You wanna make it as easy as possible and insert that link back in there, right? And one suggestion with this, on your Etsy dashboard right now, you have something called an Etsy referral link. And essentially, if a customer buys through that link, then you're getting your Etsy transaction fee reimbursed. Now, at the making of this video, this is available to us right now. In a few months from now, Etsy might take this down, but I would suggest using this link so then if they are gonna purchase again, that 6.5% isn't getting taken out of that sale for them to come back and purchase again. Now let's move into list item number 3, which is a product insert / Etsy thank you card. This is so important. A product insert is something that you actually include in your package when you ship your item to your customer. They open the item and usually there's some type of thank you card or care instructions. Now, if you're a print-on-demand seller or if you're selling a digital download, obviously with a lot of these print providers like Printify and Printful, there is no option to send a product insert. I believe, I'm not totally sure because I don't sell print on demand in the print on demand space, but I believe there is a way to send a media mail. So even though if you're doing Printify or whatever, not the one fulfilling your item, Printify is fulfilling it for you, I think it would still be super valuable to send each customer a media mail. So that means they're gonna get the thank you card separate from their Printify order. It's gonna come in 2 different times, but again, if you do this properly, it could be super valuable to, like I said, cultivate that relationship, and it may be worth that 90 cents or whatever it is to get people to come back to your store, build that brand loyalty time and time again. Let's just talk about a few ways that you can set up your thank you card. I use a tool called Canva, and Canva is literally like Photoshop for beginners. So you can come in here and type in Etsy thank you card, and they're gonna give you back a bunch of templates for for you to build a thank you card. So let's click this guy right here. And I actually started building out a thank you card. Now there's a couple of key components in an Etsy thank you card that are super, super essential. So one, obviously the thank you. Two, you wanna make sure you're including your brand name and your social media handles. If you're a store that has care instructions for your products, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're including your care instructions on that card. You're also gonna wanna make sure you put a QR code. So a QR code is something that you scan and it will bring them directly back to wherever the call to action is. So it's really important that you do QR codes because, like I said, if you have to give them extra harder steps where they have to manually go and search your name, they're not gonna do it. The barrier of entry becomes really high at that point, and the drop-off rate of doing whatever call to action you want them to do, it's gonna drop significantly. So you wanna make sure whatever you're linking them to, it's in a QR code form. So all they have to do is look at the card, scan the card, and then go to wherever you're directing them to. Which brings me to the last most important element, which is the call to action, right? Just like that post-purchase follow-up message, there was a call to action on your thank you card, you also want to have a call to action. So what does this look like for you on your thank you card? So here is an example of our thank you card. And like I said, Canva is super drag and drop and super, super easy. And this was right off a template. You're gonna have your Instagram handle, right? We have our care instructions down here. We can write whatever we want for that. Here's our QR code. And literally, if you need a QR code, you can come to Google, type in free QR code generator, and I believe I used this one. Yep. You're gonna go ahead, drop the link, and then download the QR code that you make for yourself. You're going to then go back into Canva. You're gonna upload it into Canva and then place that on your thank you card. Right, now the call to action for this, couple of options for this, and this is really contingent on what works for you, and these are also subject to split test to see what converts for you better. So the call to action could be a straight discount code, so enjoy 20% off your next purchase, use code LOVE20, and then you're just getting them to purchase right away. Another thing that you could do could be something like tag us on Instagram and get XYZ offer. And now that offer needs to be even more sexy than the previous offer. So if the follow us got you 15% off, now if you tag us, because hopefully at this point you are already following us, now if you say tag us on Instagram, then we'll give you even more of a discount, so maybe 20% off, right? And essentially, you can't give them the discount code right away if you're gonna do this method because they have to go and tag you first. So you have to be watching your Instagram and making sure you're sending that discount code once you get a tag. They not only like your product and they already followed you, they love the product, right? And they go and take a picture with it, that's actually huge, right? Because now they're promoting on your behalf on their own social media, and who knows how many followers they have. Now, like I said, this works really well for certain niches better than others. You gotta feel that out, what works better or worse for your use case. For me, I had a product where it was something that you could take a picture with, and people really loved taking a picture with it. And I got even more exposure in UGC content, which is user-generated content by people just tagging us on Instagram, their product. So there's a lot of customizations options with Canva. Like I can literally come in here, copy this, paste it down here. So it's super, super intuitive, drag and drop. I mean, it's really fun because you kind of feel like you're a designer, even though I'm really not a designer. Say I want to grab this guy here, go like that. We can just place it behind it like that, move it around, so far and so forth. One thing that you could add to this, which some people argue that they don't like asking for a review, you could write something maybe down here saying, if you had a 5-star experience, please leave a 5-star review, something like that. Some people, like when you read forums, it's like 50-50. Some people think if you ask properly, then it's okay. Some people say that's too pushy, but honestly, it's up to you and based off who you think that your customer avatar is, if you should ask for that. Now, something that you cannot do with your Etsy product inserts is something called incentivized reviews. So you can't say on your cards, if you leave me a review, I will do this. So if you leave me a 5-star review, I will give you 50% off or whatever your next Etsy purchase, right? That's review manipulation. You're not allowed to do that because you just don't want to get in trouble with Etsy. I personally use a local printer, and I think they're only about like 27 cents per card, and they come in like a 4x6 card. You could also do a 3x5 card. I've done both sizes. And yeah, I usually try to keep it under 30 cents per card on a pretty good quality card stock. Canva also has an option for you to print with them as well. I've never tried it, but I would really shoot to try to keep it under 30 cents, if not cheaper, which you probably can even find cheaper than that with keeping the quality pretty decent. Now let's move to number 4, which is the easiest thing that you can do, which is the Etsy automation. So if you go into Etsy and you go to marketing and then you go to sales and discounts, you have this little box here that automatically send offers to your interested shoppers, which you have 3 options to enable. You can send a thank you message, an abandoned cart, and a favorited items message. Now this email is something that's going to be sent on your behalf. And as you can see, these are some results from one of my smaller brands, but still really decent results. And you just want to make sure you're going ahead and enabling all of these offers. This shows Etsy that you're a serious seller and that you want to get more sales, but also it does help your sales a little bit. Not as great as like Shopify abandoned cart emails or anything, but something is better than nothing. Guys, those are really the 4 main things that I would do. And nothing rocket science by any means, but those are what I did with all of my Etsy brands, and they've proven me time and time again. And remember some key things with this, guys, like everything is subject to testing. So for your use case, for your specific products, right? For instance, like on the Etsy product insert, right? Because you're doing a QR code, you can track how many times people are opting into that QR code. So you can change the offer and see what QR codes are getting scanned in the most to see which one increases your conversion rate on those Etsy product inserts. So all of this is subject to tests. All of this is subject to track and see what works for you best, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. If you did, make sure you comment some love down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.